You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, James.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show.
Halle Berry, Halle Berry, Halle Berry, Halle Berry. So, welcome to another Once Upon a Time After Show right here on AfterBuzzTV.com. Of course, we had to come in with that song because they mentioned Halle Berry or Holly Berry several times in tonight's episode. So we thought it was very fitting. I'm your host, Cathy Kelley. Joining me tonight, our panel is back together.
Yes.
For tonight's episode. Sitting to my right, Tiona Hobson.
Hello, everyone. Wearing my Minnie Mouse t-shirt. I don't know if you guys can see.
Gotta represent that
Disney. What?
And then next to me, Kaori Takee.
Hey guys. What's up? How are you doing?
Short and sweet. And then sitting next to her, Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone. I'm not engineering.
I know.
It's nice
love
to see you
it.
next to me again. I like it.
So we also have a very special guest in studio. You might recognize her from tonight, Alexandra Metz.
She cut her hair, though.
Yeah.
Her hair's a little bit shorter.
Just
but
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So did they actually have those extensions? Like, was there ropes and ropes of hair on set?
Yeah, I think it was over 200 feet. Yeah, it was insane.
That was real hair?
Crazy.
It was, I mean, I guess it was synthetic, but yeah.
Wow.
No, it was actually physically there. It wasn't CGI'd.
That's crazy.
They made you grow out your hair for that long.
A lot of planning.
That's great for Locks of Love, actually. So we were going to talk about everything, her entire experience filming, how she got the role, all of that at the end of the episode, or at the end of the after show tonight. But first, we have to dive into tonight's after show because so much happened, from Halle Berry to Rapunzel to Night Route. So let's dive right in. Talking about first Zelena and Rumple. Zelena has, as we found out last week, has Rumple captive in this storm cellar that is on her farmhouse. She's controlling him with his dagger, and it's a weird relationship.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's sexual, if it's
I think that's her father, but like it got a little, there's some tension there.
I know a lot of people are speculating that they are father-daughter, but I was like, they're too close. And it was very uncomfortable to watch if that storyline did pan out.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off that it felt borderline sexual, and when it was the shadows, they were so close to each other, or their lips almost touched. I almost thought they were about to make out.
But I liked it.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking maybe not father-daughter, maybe not.
But regardless, her mother had relations with him, so that's still very scandalous.
Yeah.
Unless Cora could have had relations with a lot of people. She was trying to work her way up in society. So working girls.
Yeah.
Alex,
were you a fan of the show before you were cast on it?
You know, as I mentioned earlier, I actually don't own a television.
Oh, yeah.
I have cable, but I remember right before I moved to LA, I saw a promo right when the show was just starting, about to premiere, and I was like, that show looks badass. Like, that's a show I'd love to be on and watch. Should I have a TV in front of me?
What's the reason for not having a TV? Is it just you don't want to watch?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I watch things online.
Okay.
There's so much I need to catch up on. I mean, like, currently I'm watching Lost, which is funny because there's a lot of crossover with that show. And then I'm starting to watch Sopranos and like all these like classic shows. So it's just there's so much to watch that you get inundated, and you also have to focus on your work, and you're constantly going into different rooms. So it's a lot to balance, basically. Yeah.
It'd also probably be hard, like, comparing yourself to other people on TV and being like, ugh.
Well, it's actually a lot to learn from, you know.
Really?
Television acting is very different than film acting. So you see, you know, oh, it's a close-up and they're very still, or, you know, this is where they can get a little bigger because it's a wide shot. So it's a lot to learn. I should watch more television. That's something that I'd be like, oh, it's so cool, I don't watch television. Like,
I mean, you really only have to watch Once Upon a Time.
That's
Let's
right.
be real.
That's right.
Only show on television.
And maybe Lost if you have time.
Yeah. I'm like halfway through, which is, it's incredible. But it's cool to see the crossover. But no, I'd seen like maybe one episode and I was like, I wish I could see more of this. And then when the audition came up, it was like, okay, I need to see a couple, you know, get the scope, see what's going on, get the tone, so I knew what to kind of walk into. And then when I got it, I was like, okay, time to catch up even more. Like, there's an excuse to watch once. It's awesome. And my sister loves it, so it was like, okay, we could talk about it. She could fill me in, and it was really fun.
That's awesome. So your whole family is on board and excited.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool. And it's crazy. I mean, we always talk about the similarities between Lost and Once Upon a Time and how they have like 815 Oceanic Flight 815 and then 815 is always there are a lot of people online who have a lot of theories
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. They get to have fun with it. Like, it's not just writing a story. They're like, oh, let's just allude to this. Like, why not?
Exactly. So getting back to tonight's episode, this whole Zelena and Rumple weird relationship, she ends up saying to him that she wants him to keep up appearances, so she's going to shave his scraggly beard, but we realize that it's actually just to get blood, so she can then go to Gold's store and open his safe, because there's blood magic locking the safe.
Sorry.
Did you want to talk about...
I wanted to ask about the dagger.
Okay. Yeah. How did she get
the dagger? Because the last time we saw it, his shadow took off with it in Neverland, right? So I think this might come back full circle with, you know, her backstory and like who her father was and all that stuff.
I think we'll probably get a flashback of what happened in the year that went missing.
There's so much that we don't know about what happened in the last year. Still.
So much.
Yeah.
Any speculations?
I don't know.
It's tough.
Well,
it seems like just a jaded kid. Yeah. Like she, you know, she's upset that she didn't have a father around, so she's taking it out on Regina, who, you know, in her mind had this amazing life with parents involved. And
yeah, because the last time, I believe the last time we actually saw the dagger, that was when Rumple stabbed his father, and then they both kind of disappeared along with the dagger, so we have no idea the whereabouts of dagger up until that point. So somehow Zelena got it back, or took it.
Got it in the first place.
Took it from somewhere.
I still want to know who Zelena's father is. That'll be interesting. And I know that we're going to see more of Cora, right?
That's why I hear Rose McGowan's supposed to be back, right?
Well,
we're gonna...
Cora did appear in the last episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, so she might make another crossover to Once.
We do know that young Cora with Rose is coming back at some point, so maybe that's when we'll get to see her giving up that baby.
Yeah. So, also, we have to figure out what Zelena's after, because she says to Rumple that this is something that he's been searching for his entire life, and she's going to get it much faster.
Yeah, and she said it's something against his nature. So I was trying to think, you know, as
is it courage?
Yeah, I was like, courage.
Because we'll talk about this later in the episode, but she was seeking courage, and that's something that Rumple always lacked. But when she was also talking about her father, she was talking about how he had tremors and how he used to drink and all these nerves, which kind of sounds like Rumple.
It did sound like Rumple, but then it also sounded like Rumple's father.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because how would her and Regina be sisters if it was Rumple's father? That would make her and Rumple siblings. And I don't think that works out, but... I mean, it's the tremors.
That would be a weird family tree. It's possible. It's a weird family tree.
I mean, it's already a crazy family tree. But I think that the only part of me that doesn't think it's Rumple is because he hasn't said anything to gesture that he knows that this is his daughter.
But he also wouldn't know if he had a daughter.
But she said that her and Regina were trained by Rumple.
So she could have approached Rumple and him not known that was Cora's daughter. She could have,
I don't think Rumple would have wasted his time on someone who wasn't worthy of it.
Yeah,
Cora-
and Zelena did mention that Rumple willingly chose Regina over Zelena.
Yeah.
Maybe just as a student, but maybe not as a daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm having my doubts now about Rumple being the father.
I just think it's
just
the
too many
obvious
questions yet.
one, and I feel like I don't always want it to be the obvious choice.
So
I
please
want it
don't
to
be
be
so
more
obvious.
complicated.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But then
It is
it
very
it
complicated.
could be the obvious one because we're all overthinking it.
I think it also might. Yeah, I think it also might be because we saw Rumple and the young Peter Pan, and we didn't know who that was. We always speculated that they related, and then we found out he was his father. Then we're like automatically thinking, oh, Rumple is Zelena's father. So like the father card is kind of integrated into our minds right now. So that might be our first thought from now on. Oh, it's got to be a father.
Yeah.
But
So,
maybe not.
Zelena goes to Mr. Gold's shop. There she encounters Belle, and Zelena is amazing at playing dumb. She's like, oh, you must be Mrs. Gold. Is Mr. Gold around? Full well knowing that he's locked up in her cellar. And she asks Belle to help her find a gift for Mary Margaret, who she pretends she also doesn't really know that well. And just as Belle's going away, she uses magic on her and then uses blood magic to open Rumple's safe, grabs Nightlock, which at the time we didn't really know what it was yet.
I thought it was a turd. It did kind of look like a turd, right? It was in a jar. It was brown. It was kind of sticky. I don't know.
It's not Nightlock, it's Nightroot.
Nightroot, sorry,
Nightroot,
yeah. And then when it's
Difference.
when it's opened, when it's opened up, it kind of looks like a crystal.
Yeah.
Hence the stars, and that's why they call it night. Yeah.
It made me question because the Rapunzel story has a flower in it called a rampion, I believe, or a lot of Grimm's fairy tales has this. It's named rampion, which if you look it up on Google, it's a purple flower that looks like a star with the petals. And then I liked their interpretation with tonight's. It was kind of like stone, kind of crystallized type of star. So I was like, are they the same things? Are they related?
Did you do any research when you found out that you were cast as Rapunzel?
Yeah.
Into the Rapunzel story?
Yeah, totally. The one thing I didn't see though was Tangled. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, Tangled!"
You have to.
I didn't want her performance to influence mine, so I kept it separate. But I'm gonna go home and watch it this week.
Yes.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that.
It is good. So moving on to Charming has this baby anxiety, which we've realized for the last couple episodes this was coming. And then we also have to talk about Rapunzel and Nightroot, not Nightlock. But we start off the episode tonight with Charming having this dream nightmare thing going on. Adult Emma still lives in her nursery that she never got to actually live in, and she says, "You failed me. I was never here." And then very harsh words, "Don't fail the next one," which kind of sums up his feelings of he should be thrilled and excited, but he's terrified.
Yeah, and I liked how they dressed her up in this gorgeous gown. It's like that could have been the life she could have had if they didn't give her up.
Them
and
dancing
just like
together before ball.
just like
kind of
the
like-
life they could have had together, which was sad that, and it's good that his subconscious felt guilty that she never had that. But I loved how they shot it.
I think his
so
regular consciousness felt guilty.
Oh yeah, but like going from such a happy state to immediately to a dark blue creepy nightmare.
It's beautiful.
That was awesome.
Did you see I think there was a dream catcher in there that was
There
spinning
was.
around as well.
There was.
Yeah.
I thought that was
She
cool.
looked like. Were you gonna say she looked like Cinderella?
Yes, I was.
She did with the
I
big
thought she
poofy
looked like
dress.
Belle. That aerial shot where they're dancing, at the end of Beauty and the Beast. It kind of looked like that.
She did look like Belle too. They just made her all the princesses in
Yeah,
that one
or
moment.
not.
It's like, why not? She's never got to be one.
Right.
We never get to see Emma dressed up like that, so that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, well, Charming's being too hard on himself. All men have daddy anxieties when they find out their woman's pregnant, so, you know.
But if you lost your baby twice, maybe you should be a little
twice.
concerned.
Yeah.
So he wakes up in the Enchanted Forest a year ago, and Snow, this is when she tells him that she's pregnant. She asks him, "Are you excited?" And he's like, "No." I'm thrilled. I thought he was going to say no flat out for a second, but that is not the case. Then Robin Hood and Charming have a little interaction. I think it was in the stables.
Yeah.
Was that where it was?
Mm-hmm.
And Charming finds alcohol in Robin Hood's possessions. He says that that's kind of how he coped with things when his wife passed away. And then Charming admits that he feels dread about the new baby. He's lacking confidence since he did lose his last child a couple times. And Robin Hood tells Charming about Nightroot, where to find it, and that it cures your fears.
Yeah, it helps you overcome them.
But it wasn't Charming's fault that he lost his baby twice, you know? And that's why I feel like he's being way too hard on himself. He did the best he could with whatever he had and the situation that he was in.
And as a parent, you have to do what you think is best for your child. And at the time, those were both decisions that they made that was the best outcome for their child, to give them the best life possible. So he is definitely being a little too hard on himself.
But it's also knowing you're bringing something into a world where there is that much evil, and he's probably concerned, you know, would you rather not have a baby at all so that they're safe? Or, you know, then,
I'm just thinking, should Aurora?
Did they have those in the Enchanted Forest?
Yeah.
That's true.
But I think that also just the general concerns of parents, you know, abandoning, leaving your child, and then knowing that they're going to grow up with all these questions and you're not there to answer them. That I think that was another thing that probably bugged him as well.
I mean, but Emma's a little harsh on him too, but Emma did the same thing with Henry virtually.
Yeah.
So
it's a family thing.
Yeah, it's a family
thing.
Recurring theme, as they call it.
I agree.
I also want to know about Aurora and
her
man's baby.
Philip.
Prince Philip's baby.
I'm mad at
how
Aurora
that's
right now
coming.
because she backstabbed them, I guess, kind of in the return. So we'll see how she.
We're always mad at Aurora.
Yeah,
that's a
true.
recurring theme as well. So, this whole interaction between Robin Hood and Charming, where he finds out where to get Nightroot, but doesn't really find out all that Nightroot entails. Charming sets off to find it, and as he is nearing where the Nightroot is, he hears someone screaming.
Who could that be?
What?
And it's Rapunzel. So he climbs the tower, he climbs her hair to get up, and there she tells him the story about how her parents are king and queen of their realm, and her brother was next in line to take the throne, but then something happened. We find out later that unfortunately her brother died when she was younger. She was swimming, and he tried to save her, and he rescued her, but ended up sacrificing himself. And she's scared because she doesn't feel like she can rule. That's just how she always felt. But she then sought out to find Nightroot, and ever since then, a witch wouldn't let her leave the tower.
Mysterious.
And it always seems like whenever they incorporate a new character, one that we know from our childhood stories that we heard, they tell the story, but it's also told in a little bit different of a light.
Yeah, totally.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, because I believe I reread the Brothers Grimm version, and Rapunzel wasn't a princess already. She was, just a normal girl.
Right.
Yeah, and her parents were normal people,
Yeah, her
too.
parents were normal people, and the prince came and got her. I also didn't know in my childhood version, Rapunzel didn't have twins at the end of the movie, or at the end of the book. But in the Grimm's tale, the witch casts her out to the desert, and she has 2 kids, and then the prince finally catches up to her and finds her again, and they fall in love and live happily ever after. But I was like, whoa,
And
Rapunzel
isn't he
had
blind,
babies?
too?
Yeah, he's
Blind.
blind.
Yeah.
The Brothers Grimm are dark SOBs. Seriously.
But I like how once went with the dark route
Yeah.
tonight's
Because
episode.
the witch was scary.
Oh my
I
God.
was
Very scary.
It moves like a Dementor from Harry Potter. Which
That's what-
I
you
always
know what?
have to find a way to bring Harry Potter into this.
I thought it was a mix of Dementor / Ringwraith from Lord of the Rings /
Yes.
Voldemort from Harry Potter.
Yes, it moved like that. You couldn't tell what was
creepy.
underneath the hood. At one point, I thought there was multiple people coming out of it. I don't know. It was scary, but
Very creepy.
Yeah. You mentioned the kind of tamer ones. I thought of Exorcist. I thought of like, kind of her coming down the stairs as
that's
a
what I
spider.
thought,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
It was
Now that you
creepy
mention that.
nonetheless. And we were trying to figure out this entire episode how one time it kind of moved and it looked like a guy, and then another time it moved and it kind of looked like a girl. Then we figured it out at the end of the episode. So glad they answered that.
Did you guys also notice that in Rapunzel's tower? I'm not sure if you noticed this either, but in the backdrop on the window there was a an ogre.
I noticed that too, and I thought of Shrek.
I thought of Shrek, and I was like, oh, what a little great homage to Shrek
Right,
right here.
yeah.
Oh, T, I love how you and I thought alike.
The Ogre Wars as well.
Yeah, the ogre wars
Yeah.
too.
So I want to know, how many realms are there that need kings and queens? Because we have like I feel like we have more princes and princesses than we do normal people, like nannies. But
Maybe every city has its own.
every realm.
Yeah, that's true. Every county has a
Yeah.
governor,
Yeah.
Have their own
mayor.
governing board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enchanted
nice.
Land's a big place.
Enchanted Forest. Yeah.
They seem to move around it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess we're only getting the stories of the popular people, as Zelena calls them. Well, we can't all be as popular as you, Snow White.
Ooh, I wonder if they'll ever create brand new, like completely brand new princesses and princes.
I think they've talked about incorporating some of the newer characters,
Right.
Like the girls from Frozen.
Elsa.
Princess Tiana.
Really?
right.
Tiana, yeah.
But just their own completely brand new people that aren't even in like Tiana or like modern day
Oh, like
fairy
they come up
tales.
with their own.
Yeah.
That'd
fairy
be
tales.
fun.
That'd be
Yeah.
Because they made Emma. She's completely original.
Right.
So
Right.
if you can have Emma, you can definitely have so many other people.
Yeah,
and
it's endless.
the minds of Once Upon a Time, those creators, they can think of anything.
Yes.
Can.
So where were we?
Rapunzel.
Got really off
Rapunzel.
topic. Okay, so yes.
Oh, Night Route didn't work. And
Rapunzel says that this witch wouldn't let her leave once she used the night route. We find out that the witch is actually Rapunzel. It's her own fear, and you have to face your fear head on, essentially killing what looks like yourself to get past this.
Like your own inner demons.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Very deep.
out of your own way.
Every story also has a moral, or every episode has a moral to that episode.
I think it's just saying, like, no one can stop you but yourself.
Yes,
So
that's true.
you have to overcome that.
So Rapunzel ends up defeating Witch Rapunzel, and by doing so, she has to cut off her hair, and then the fear Rapunzel falls down and turns into smoke ball.
Vanishes. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Rapunzel and Charming escape the tower, and she then tells the entire story about her brother and how she's worried to go home and see her family because she's worried that they won't accept her. But of course, they all head back to the castle, and the family welcomes her, and it was such a touching scene. And Snow
And
asked
everyone was
Charming.
there.
Yeah, everyone. Regina was
Party.
there. Everyone was there.
Regina looked happy too.
I want to
Yeah.
see how they got to that point, like where, whether they're all in this castle. I don't know
How they
got
all knew
there,
each
yeah.
other
Yeah.
and knew that she'd be there. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I was wondering the same.
Yeah.
When I was on set, I was like, all right, let's go with her.
Maybe walk into a giant party for me.
They heard it through the grapevine. I mean, Prince Charming was there, who told Snow, who told Regina, who
But it's
told
not
everyone.
like he has his little cell phone in the enchanted
Right.
forest. He can't just
mean,
They sent a pigeon.
Yeah.
get his flip
messenger.
phone.
Carry a messenger.
Yes.
But I have a question for you, Alex. Which Rapunzel was more fun to play, the kind of evil witchy one or the good girl locked up in the tower?
They're both really fun, but evil's always really fun. Like watching Rebecca, it's just like, oh, that looks so juicy. You know? It's just
She
so
makes it
fun.
so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's great.
Cool. Well, our last topic for the night is everyone in Storybrooke trying to figure out the curse and the Wicked Witch. Who is the Wicked Witch? So they know that it's the Wicked Witch of Oz, but they don't know who in Storybrooke is behind all of it.
I find it so frustrating that Snow is so naive.
Trusting?
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like,
I wrote that
too
down.
trusting.
Yeah.
So pregnancy brain, probably. She just forgets everything.
Blame it on the pregnancy brain.
Hook, Emma, and David search Regina's house looking for clues from the witch, and they find Holly Berry. Holly Berry. Which I thought was Holly Berry the entire time, but no, they found Holly Berry, and I love the line, "It's not just any berry, it's Holly Berry." That made me giggle.
Yes, the Oscar winner is here.
So David then has to scoot to meet the new nanny, Zelena, and I loved just the interaction between
Midwife.
Or the midwife, yeah. But she also knew Snow's old nanny, which is, I think that's why Snow was so trusting of her, because she figured if she knew my nanny, she's probably a good person.
But just because she says
I know,
she knows
still.
Joanna,
David was a little bit wary about it.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think he was also nervous because anything to do with the baby makes him anxious.
But I was actually happy that he was, he had his reservations and he actually expressed them, because I think Snow was being a little too trusting. And then the other thing I thought of was, why aren't they asking Emma to come by and use her superpower? I know it's still faulty, her knowing when people are lying and whatnot, but
I think they were busy doing the other mission.
trying to figure out who the Wicked Witch is.
And it all happened very fast. But Zelena is very excellent at, she brings up the person's fears before they do, or their concerns. So she was saying, she's like, David, you look a little bit anxious. Like, she was saying those things out loud, so she addressed it, and I feel like that made them in turn feel more comfortable, because they didn't think that she was trying to dupe them. Even though she was.
Even though she is.
Yes.
That just shows how smart she is.
And how wicked she is.
Yeah.
See, anyone who
Wicked
comes
smart.
but anyone who comes at me knowing too much about my life without me actually sharing it, I know that they're in the spotlight and that people know them.
Creep
but then
alert.
Creep alert still, because it's been a year and you don't remember anything. So anyone new, whether you knew them a year ago or not, I think you should still be kind of, hang on, I don't know you.
Have reservations.
Yeah.
Have reservations and just kind of be smart about it.
I did really appreciate in this scene, it looked like just Snow and Charming seemed like a normal couple. Like they were having, she's like, well, you don't look thrilled to be here. And it was just very cute. And then I was like, oh my gosh, she actually has their real baby in her stomach right now.
She's actually rubbing it. It's like, that's so easy for her. Just like,
When life
natural.
imitates art.
exactly.
Or art imitates life. So after this whole thing, Zelena, she gets them some tea, and they're not concerned at all to drink this drink that someone just made for them. She says it's chamomile tea, but she actually puts night root in David's drink. And I was like so nervous every time he took the mug up to his lips, and he was like, oh, and then we...
He's not going to actually drink it. And then...
Until they cheers.
So,
yeah. I thought that it
Cheers.
was going to be something at first to sabotage the pregnancy, but then we saw that it was to David's cup instead.
Yeah. And I liked how they simultaneously showed both stories, Rapunzel's story and this story in the real world in Storybrooke. Like how they just juxtaposed both of them so we can understand it better.
Yeah.
it was really nice to have them both going side by side too, because the whole time I was waiting for when David was attacked in the forest, which, I mean, sorry to jump ahead, but I was waiting for that to trigger a memory from a year ago of this same thing happening, because I was like, oh, maybe this will trigger a memory, and then they'll start piecing back together their year.
And it didn't happen.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Exactly.
So David sets out to finish his important town business, and meanwhile, Emma and Hook find the farmhouse in the woods. Before that, they do have a little bit of a hooker moment.
Hooker life!
Moment. And he asks Emma about her almost fiance, and she then he says that he's happy that it didn't work out and she has her heart broken, because if your heart can be broken, that means it still works. They almost kiss, and I love, she has reservations too, because she just seems a little bit nervous or jealous about his swashbuckling tales. She's like, what did you do the last year?
Like, you're out on that boat all by yourself. What was happening?
Exactly.
And I think she should be asking those questions. But
if she likes him.
If she likes him.
If
but
she
then
doesn't, then she doesn't care.
Yeah, I also love the Hook throughout the last few episodes. He's been it's very sly little remarks about Neil. You know, like earlier it's like, oh, well, we don't know what's out there. You know, these flying monstrosities. He's like, yeah, it could end up being Henry's dad. You know, he's putting these little feelers out to get reactions out of Emma, and she's just so, you know,
stoic
and unfazed by his little remarks about Neil coming up. And
that's probably why he likes her so much too.
Yeah,
it's because
he's
hard
to
really
get.
hard to get.
Really hard to get.
She's a tough cookie, though. You know, she's hard to crack.
Yeah,
she's got no time for love. She's just out looking for mysteries.
Because her life is constantly in danger. But you know what? He hooked me.
I said it.
And sometimes it can be better to get through the tough times with someone by your side.
That's true.
So
yes,
and
he's proving to be a very good friend and being there in her time of need right now. So,
but if he didn't love her or really like her, he wouldn't be there, would he?
And it looks like we might see Neil in the next episode.
Yay for me!
For the Swanfire fans out there,
I'm like the sole Swanfire fan here.
I know, I am too. I want them to end up together.
Nice. But it's not. It's Captain Swan. Hookers for life.
Why can't we just have Hook and she have Neil?
I'm just sitting
saying.
here watching it.
Me too. I'm with you. I'm like, okay, who's gonna win this?
So, anyways, where's Sheriff Graham? So they end up finding the farmhouse, and they say it's ironic because the Wicked Witch of Oz has the farmhouse just like Dorothy did. In the book, there outside the farmhouse is the bike with the basket in it, just like the witch
Gulch.
had. Yes, Miss Gulch. And a storm cellar like Dorothy's when they had tornadoes. So
how far do they have to travel by though, where it's really snowy, cold? I always felt like it was a different realm, but it was just somewhere in Storybrooke.
No, it was cold because when we saw Regina and Henry walking outside, there was a little bit frozen area on the pond.
But that was the snow all over the place. I feel like they had to.
I think because it was such a rural area where not a lot of people have been out that way. Whereas in the city and stuff, people are walking and
so
it's warmer in the city.
So Storybrooke basically has to be pretty big when you think about it.
I mean, when we were first introduced to Joanna, she lived so far outside Storybrooke that in the years that Emma was gone, they hadn't even met her. So they hadn't interacted with her at all because she was so far outside the main town. But so Emma and Hook are searching the farmhouse. While they're there and just about to open the storm cellar, they get David's voicemail. He was wandering through the woods alone, and at the trailhead he encountered the witch, which ended up being himself, and he ends up killing it with his broken sword after this epic sword battle. And then after he does that, the sword disappears in a magical green smoke. We find out that Zelena actually has it in her purse, which reminded me of Mary Poppins for a little bit. Like the nanny,
purse?
She's the midwife nanny type person, and she has this purse with endless possibilities.
Because I couldn't exactly see what else was in there, but it looked like there's other little trinkets. And Regina did say that it was just a symbol of his courage that was captured in that moment. So I was like, what else is in there? Is there a symbol of someone's brain and their heart? Or where are we going with this?
Are the ruby slippers in there?
Yeah.
Yes. It will be interesting to find out.
But it wasn't a carpet bag.
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
So just as this all happens, he defeats Fear David, the yellow bug, Emma's yellow bug, shows up, and Emma, Hook, and Regina all get out because they got his voicemail, but he already defeated the thing, so they didn't really do much help.
Well, I mean, yeah, they didn't physically help him, but they mentally helped him.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice turning point.
The four of them head back to the farmhouse to check out the storm cellar, and unfortunately, it looks like the padlock had already been broken. No one's there, but they find straw that's been turned into gold, so they realize that Rumpelstiltskin is still somewhere in Storybrooke, whether he's alive or not, but he had been turning straw into gold, and we don't know whether he escaped or Zelena took him elsewhere.
Yeah, and one of the things that Rumple kept saying when he was spinning that straw was that it clears the mind and soothes the soul, and then that all the voices in my head will be quiet when I'm dead. And I was just trying to...
creepy.
It was creepy, and so is this Mr. Gold Rumple who's going to remember everything, or is it...
I think it's
different
Mr.
Rumple?
It's Mr. Gold, but he's so crazy right now because he's been stuck. I mean, it's essentially the same tactics that they use on terrorists. Like, you know, you stick them, or like a prisoner of war, you stick them in this place, and all he's got to do all day for a year. It's
kind of like brainwashing.
He's been spinning straw into gold, and that's why Rumpelstiltskin got crazy in the first place. So
maybe he's back
But
to his
also, if he is Rumple's version right now, he is part seer, so he has all these, he can see all these visions.
but you
and
can
stuff
see in his
head
face
too.
that he's not the Rumple version,
Yeah, but
and he has no power right now.
just if he was, he's got a lot of things going on in his crazy brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Regina looked kind of happy when they were like, we
She
only know
did.
one person who spins gold, and she had that little smirk.
She was the only one that looked
She's like, Wicked
content,
Witch, you ain't got nothing now. Me and Rumble about to team up.
which is great.
She-
what happened.
She was the only one who didn't seem surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yep, I know who it is.
Yeah. So overall, amazing episode. We will do news and gossip in a little bit, but first off, we have a very special segment with Alex. We want to know, all about the experience. First off, how was the audition process for it?
So it was a same day audition. And those are always fun because, you could have other things going on and then all of a sudden you have to drop it and just get there.
Yeah.
So I got it the same day. I ran and met a friend and said, can you read this with me? And, because it's really good to read things over once before you walk in the room. It's helpful. So she, 20 minutes worth of, okay, this is nice here. Let's change this here. Let's, add these notes. And then I was like, great. Ran out the door, ran to the appointment. Veronica Rooney was the casting director. And she's just incredible. It was really fun. It was just one of those auditions where, it clicked. There was no time to overthink it, really. Just like go in there and put it all out there. And it was amazing. And Veronica's, she's really interactive, which is great. Because some auditions, people are just reading and they're just kind of looking at you and then reading and then looking at you. And it's just like, you're not giving me anything. But that's okay. I'll just create because that's what I do. And so she's a good partner. And that was a Friday, I believe, and it was right before Thanksgiving. And I didn't hear anything the following week, the early part of that next week. And so I was like, okay. My grandfather came to visit me from New York for 10 days for Thanksgiving. And so it was all about him. And I forgot about everything. I was like, all right, it's vacation time. It's holidays. And then I got a call, I think a week later, and my manager was like, you got the role. And I was like, oh, awesome. That's awesome. I love this show. And she's like, do you even know who you're playing? I was like, no, because it was just a generic name on the audition.
They want to keep
Surprise.
Yeah, they're top secrets. So I was like, no, who am I playing? Like anything would be amazing on the show. And she said, you're gonna play Rapunzel. I was like, what? That's like iconic.
Yes.
Like literally, I was screaming and so excited. My grandfather was like, what is going on?
And especially for Rapunzel to be played by a black girl,
Yeah, there's been a lot of
when
talk
I found out
about
the
that.
casting, I was like, oh my god, that's amazing that they're gonna, change it up and give their own spin on it.
Totally. Yeah.
Do you think you would have auditioned differently had you known that it was Rapunzel?
It's possible, I might have tried to, put that a spin on it that from what I know about Rapunzel before the research I did after I got the role, but yeah, I'm kind of glad I was in the dark. It really helped.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, a lot of the things that I've gotten have always been same-day auditions.
Really?
Which is funny, because it's just, I think I work better when it's just like, okay, what am I dealing with, and make those decisions and put them out there. Yeah.
It's also good, like, when you're not thinking about it after, like, worried if you got it or...
Yeah, totally, because it can torment you, You really want you want the opportunity to work on these sets with these awesome cast and crews, and, sometimes it happens, most times it doesn't, you know. So it was awesome. In this case, it worked out.
What was it like filming in Vancouver?
It was awesome. I love traveling, and I haven't really seen much of the world. So like, it was like, oh, good, I get to check that off my list and like really get to see a new city. And oh gosh, it was, first of all, it was winter. Obviously, it was. I think it was like beginning of December. I think we shot it, and so it was really snowy, which I think everyone's used to seeing Storybrooke like that, just rain or snow, and so it was cool. And everyone in Vancouver is amazing. I love Canadians; like, they're amazing. So to be on a Canadian set, there was still the working element where everyone was working really hard and getting so much accomplished, especially on this set. They get so much done in a day. But they're still like, okay, we're gonna shoot. We're gonna shoot. Everyone, let's shoot. Like, okay, we're gonna shoot. This is awesome.
So it wasn't, since like that was the third season and everyone knows each other, it wasn't weird going into a set like that. Like, they were very accommodating.
Oh God, so much so welcoming. Everyone's like open arms and welcoming, and yeah, no, not a moment where I was like, this is weird, I don't know anyone. Everyone, even the people I didn't work with, like, I'd walk past my trailer and then I'd see Jennifer, and you know, she wasn't in any scenes with me, but immediately like, hey, nice to meet you. We're so happy to have you. And I was like, oh, I'm so happy to be here.
How long would you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What was the wardrobe like and the makeup? Because you actually get to wear an extravagant gown in that.
Yeah.
What was that process
I
like?
have to say, it's been my top-notch costume of all time.
Nice.
Oh, God, my favorite. Eduardo Castro, who does the costumes, he's just incredible. And they hand make these costumes. Like, the week that I got there on a Tuesday, I believe, and they had just kind of made it 3 days prior, and when I got there, they made sure, you know, they tailored it, and there's a woman, she was just like, it's literally like being a princess. You walk in and there they have a gown for you, and it's just perfectly suited to you. It was awesome, yeah. And then the tiara, and it was amazing. Yeah. And most times I have to say, I like either my makeup's super, you know, just normal everyday wear, or it's like a rape victim, or like someone who's like gotten beaten up. Like,
very
like,
morbid.
Yeah, I've done a lot of like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and all the like the New York shows where like you're telling about someone who just pushed you off a ledge or something. And so it's always like really grueling makeup. And this time it was like, oh, I get to
refreshing to be a princess.
Yeah, princess makeup, like little sparkles, little extensions on my eyelashes. Yeah. I felt so girly. It was fun.
And most of your scenes were with Josh. Well, all of your scenes pretty much were with Josh Dallas. What was it like working with him?
He's such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. Also very welcoming. Was open to talk about whatever, and it was cool because he also had his camera on set, so he has his own, you know, he documents everything on set in the same way that Jeff Bridges does, and I'm sure there are a lot of actors out there that do this, but it's really nice because, you know, photography, like, you can take a phone with your picture, but it's different with a Canon where you're really like getting in there, and you get these really nice moments with characters and cross sections where you wouldn't normally expect to see, you know, in the show, in the storyline. So it was cool. He was around doing that, and just really just so sweet.
How secretive are they about that? Like, did they tell you do not tweet any pictures before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Sean McGuire and I took a picture, and he was like, okay, you gotta make sure you don't, like, this is an awesome picture and everyone's gonna love it. Just don't show it to anyone yet. And I was like, okay, I won't.
So is the veil lifted? You're allowed to tweet stuff now?
Yeah. It's funny though, because there were so many spoiler pictures up like all this week, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, I didn't put any of these out here, but I guess they like leaking things here and there, you know,
just
creating
to tease the audience.
Just a little bit of tease.
Yeah, and since Once Our fans are so passionate about the show, what has it been like being introduced into the Once Our family?
Whew. It is a family. Like, immediately everyone was like, I got inundated with text. You know, my Twitter's linked with my text messages, so it was like all these, welcome to the family, you're going to be an awesome Rapunzel. I was like, you guys, you don't even really know me. That's so sweet. But it's cool because, you know, they have so much expectation. There's this world that's already created that you're walking into, and with that expectation, they're also rooting you on at the same time. So it was like, it's an awesome world to walk into and an awesome fan base.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you were live tweeting tonight with everyone.
I was trying. I was like, you guys, I can't. Someone tweeted me like, are your thumbs ready? And I was like, oh, I get it. Okay.
It goes so fast, though.
Yeah. And my eyes, I was trying to watch at the same time and enjoy it. And then I'm like, okay, let me try to do this live. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I missed it. And I wanted to tell you guys to rewind. I was like, no, let's just.
No, we could have rewound. We could have rewound.
I know.
Was it weird seeing yourself?
It can be. Yeah, it can be. But, I'm getting used to it. I'm of course my own worst critic. It's very apropos to this episode. I'm like, oh, those are things that you could do better, and you're always going to be, you're standing in your own way. So I can say, oh, okay, those are things I can improve on. At least I'm the one who's up there doing it, so I can make those those changes so that next time I feel okay. I'm making those improvements myself.
Now, growing up, what was your favorite fairy tale folklore story that you liked?
I watched Disney movies like back to back, days on end. Like I just didn't care. I always found new things to learn from them, and like little moments. I was like, I totally didn't notice that. So I don't really have a favorite. I loved Ariel. I loved her. Oh God, Belle was like. It's funny, like certain ones like grow on you later. Like you just weren't quite ready for that story. And it's like, oh, you know what? I'm mature. I'm 7. I can handle it. And then Bambi was like, maybe he's not a princess, but like just like little things that you start to be ready for. And so yeah, I think Belle, Ariel. You mentioned Mary Poppins, which I know isn't a princess. I haven't seen Mary Poppins yet.
What?
I know, and it's on my like long list of things I haven't seen that I'm really excited about. So
I suggest you watch Mary Poppins, then watch Saving Mr. Banks after that.
Oh, good idea.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Back to back, making a movie night.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
See
Next
Mary
flight
Poppins.
to Vancouver, just download it.
Right, that's a really good idea. Or like whatever, when I'm in my hotel room, I just gotta buckle down.
Exactly.
And so then I think the biggest question is Rapunzel in Storybrooke?
We'll see.
Is she coming back?
You gotta ask Eddie. You gotta ask Ed and Adam about that.
I would love to see that, because even we see Cinderella in a couple random episodes, and I'm like, you see the random princesses here and there, so it'd be really cool to see Rapunzel back.
Yeah.
And just there to be, another person in the community just at the
Totally.
right there.
Yeah, I'd love that. I also wonder what my name would be in Storybrooke.
Yeah.
Have you thought of a name that you would want?
Not really. But any suggestions, I'm open to.
That's cool.
Funny question. Did you whip your hair back and forth?
That's what we should have.
I actually jammed to that song myself. I was like, I don't hope no one can hear me, but I really don't care. I love it.
There you go. Sorry, I had to.
That was the greatest moment of my life.
Well, I think we can all agree that you made an amazing Rapunzel.
Thanks, guys.
So
Thank
excited
you.
to see you tonight, and hopefully see you again in the future on the show. Do you guys,
Absolutely.
or do you have any other projects coming up?
I currently don't know. I just got done with a really awesome pilot season, came really close to getting something, and at the last minute it didn't work out, but it felt good. It was a good pilot season. I'm excited for this year.
Do you have a dream role?
Oh my God. I have dream collaborators.
Okay.
There's so many different actors and directors I'd love to work with, and should the role, the roles that I want to work in are the ones that will challenge me and that I can continually grow in. That's why I chose this profession. It doesn't seem like a profession. I'm constantly playing, but through the playing, I'm always learning about different walks of life and learning about myself through the process.
Cool.
Love it.
Awesome.
That's great.
So, any shameless plugs that you want to give out? Your Twitter?
Oh, sure, yeah. You guys want to you go. Okay, so I am Alex Metz. I am Alex Metz is my Twitter handle. And then I got Alexandra Metz official Facebook page. Yeah.
Nice.
Which I was like, this is awkward. Like putting official. Like, what does that even mean?
You're official now.
Yeah, I'm super official. And then what else is there? Oh, I have Instagram, which, is more just a fun, the photography version of me. But that's Metz 523, which is my birthday.
Have you put up any?
Wish me happy
Birthday
birthday.
on 523.
Yeah. We'll have to mark that down. But have you put up any of the pictures from when you were there yet?
Oh yeah, I did.
have? Okay.
Yeah, it's up there.
I saw one where I believe it was Lana Parrilla, and I forget who else was like photobombing you. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, they're fun. They're really fun.
Yeah.
That's really cute. So, I guess we should move on to our news and gossip.
My hair.
Miss Tiona.
I whip my hair back and forth like Rapunzel. Okay, so I have a couple pictures to show, but before we get to those, I'm going to start with Adam Horowitz tweeted on March 19th saying, excited to say we're planning a 2-hour Once Upon a Time season finale from 8 to 10 p.m. on 5/11 and all new eps until then. # Wicked versus Evil. So we get a 2-hour finale on May 11th, which I am super excited about because 2 hours of Once Upon a Time just sounds like a dream come true to people like us. So
You wished upon a star.
I wished upon a star and got what I wanted. And then I have a couple pictures. Sean McGuire tweeted out a picture of him, Josh Dallas, and Colin O'Donoghue as the New Age Charlie's Angels.
That's hilarious.
awesome.
This is too much hot for one picture.
Right. It really is. I think that it shows, that set dynamic that Alex was talking about, how much fun they have and how close they are. And it looks like they're in the hospital, so maybe it's during Mary Margaret's giving birth.
Good thought process.
Yeah, there I go using my brain.
A lot of leather in one picture too.
Yeah.
Hey, that's okay though.
And the jeans on all of them are very tight. And then I have a couple fan pics from Emily Diaz. She's been tweeting me a couple of these. This one says, keep calm and hooker for life. # hooker for life, because everyone knows I'm a huge hooker.
God. Thank you, Emily.
And then the next one,
That never gets old.
keep calm and love hook.
Oh my dear.
Yes, they're all about hooks.
Yeah,
by
I
the way,
feel
in
this
case
is
you
very
haven't got-
biased.
I gotta bring out some Balefire
I'm
takeover
just
next
saying,
week.
this is what was tweeted to me, so I just wanted to give some fan appreciation. So if you have other ones, I'll gladly put them up.
I am not complaining.
This is my personal favorite. Everybody knows it's cool to be a hooker because we all know
my
that
dear.
that's the cool thing to do. So guys, if you have other pictures, I'm not trying to be biased to who I think Emma should be with and who I also think myself should be with. But if you have other pictures, tweet them to me and I'll put them up in News and Gossip. I like a fair playing field and I will like to showcase both sides of the argument, even though my side is the right side.
I can't complain about any of those pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's it for your News and Gossip.
Awesome. So next up we have our predictions for next week. It looks like
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
this is our spooky predictions music.
Nice.
It's very fitting with tonight's episode.
So it looks like next week we are going to see Neil and whole lot of action and drama.
Yeah, it looks like people are being chased by things and a lot's happening. Regina's been close to figuring it out every step of the way, and so she was asking David a lot of questions about what happened with his hilt and stuff, and it's playing on your fears and that's your courage. So I think that if she digs a little deeper, she'll be able to figure out that Zelena is the link, because if David's like, well, if they figure out that it was the night root that made his fears arrive, and it's like, David didn't take it, what did you do? Well, I had tea with our new midwife, which there's a doctor in the town, why do you need a midwife? There's a hospital and a doctor. You don't need a midwife. Yeah. Anyways, that Regina can maybe figure it out. And then I want to see more with Regina and Henry, because I love their moment that they had walking together by the pond. I thought that Regina's kind of pep talk to him was nice.
Maybe soon you'll realize that you have a whole lot more family.
Yeah.
That was
So
really
sweet.
cute.
That was really sweet.
She's not going to figure out anything if she just spends all her time with Henry, though, because he doesn't know anything.
But I
Or
think Henry's
does he?
Henry's a smart kid. He knows
better.
that his mom's there for something more.
Yeah.
Have we met Rumple's mom, by the way? Because
No.
I have a crazy prediction that Zelena is Rumple's mother.
What?
I know.
That-
Crazy.
That's
Big,
really odd.
Big
Yeah.
twist. I think, in the Rapunzel story, the enchantress that was there wanted the first child, which was Rapunzel. But I think maybe in the Once version that Zelena is this enchantress wanting a child, which is Snow White's child, for something. Maybe for Rumple, maybe for her own purposes.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I also predict that that Rapunzel is in Storybrooke.
I predict that too.
I predict that we'll see Rapunzel again.
I predict that we'll see Rapunzel again. I actually think that she might still be in the Enchanted Forest, but with Aurora and that whole gang. Philip.
And I hope Balefire doesn't die next episode.
Well, no.
No.
But someone
Who
is
knows?
going to die.
But there's apparently some
Yeah, someone-
main character that's going to go away by the end of the season.
He's disposable.
Who is it?
Aurora.
Said main character. Okay, said main character.
I didn't say that. Okay. Well, that is all we have for tonight's after show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you are listening to us on iTunes, and please take 30 seconds, subscribe, rate, and comment. We love you for it. And then we love, love, love all of your YouTube comments, sharing your predictions. If we missed something in tonight's episode that you guys caught, please let us know. Just love reading through all of those throughout the week. Gets me through.
You can nicely
tough
let
work
us know.
week. There is a lot of information, so
We are
sometimes we
human.
do. Yeah, we do miss over it. But until the meantime, you can tweet at us. Where can they find you guys?
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KAORIOUS. And I forgot my name for a second.
And I'm on both of those shindigs at the Tiona Hobson.
You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley. You can find all of us here at AfterBuzz TV. And we have to do a very special thank you to Alexandra for
Thank
coming
you
in.
guys. Thanks for having
This
me.
was so
Seriously,
much fun.
really fun.
Great.
You give so much great insight into the episode. So
Cool, thanks.
please come back anytime.
Anytime.
Awesome. Until next week, we will see you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.